again, this is Game 7 review. So this game went off pretty well. There was a lot of really good passing. We had possession probably 70, maybe even higher percent of the time, and it was just open passing, keeping spacing between the defenders. Their defense, they didn't really pressure, so it was kind of an easy team to play keep away with. Um, didn't we didn't get as many goals or shots on goal as we have in other games, but um, our possession was really good. Um, we got a lot of compliments from the refs who said that our team just was night and day difference. They did not have a passing game. They would get the ball and they would boot it, and this is actually a valid strategy. There are teams that do this, um, but it's usually, try to launch the ball over the defense to a striker who makes a deep run. Um, we don't play that way. We play possession. We play build up from the back. Um, and there's some things that we can try where this might actually uh, work in our favor sometimes. But one thing that we need to note is on our defense, we need to know that this is how teams are playing. Um, for the most part, this doesn't. Um, we don't have a huge negative impact from this approach where they again are trying, like they're trying to advance the ball past our midfielders. And sometimes this has worked, but we've been able to shut it down pretty well by either intercepting the ball, controlling, and then making a short pass to get away from pressure. Which that we practice that all the time. The trap pass. That's why we practice that. Um, but the other thing is, when they do this, our defense is usually still back. So our defense is here. We can cover. We can put pressure on their attacking, and they don't usually get a lot of progress in doing the boot. But what does happen is counterattack. It's not necessarily a boot, but we have the ball in the front third. Um, and we lose it, and what happens is if they get either a clearance or something when all of our mids are pushed up, our defense is still there, but sometimes our defense comes up a little too high. They'll be here, and which is okay. But they have to get back. And what's happening is they're getting the ball behind our defense, and we'll be in situations like this where the ball will be here, and this is our positioning. Our defenders are perfectly in line with the ball. Our midfielders are past the ball, and our forwards are fine. Our forwards are we don't want to make them run all the way back. Um, but what's happening here is they're getting a breakaway dribble, and then we are racing to recover. And this happened a number of times. Late game, this last game, we actually had a situation where, because we were up by two, I asked, our forward. I said, "Hey, I want you back behind the line, and you're gonna contribute to the defense." And so he did. He was about here, and the ball made it past. I think it was on a throw-in. They dribbled down the line, and had the forward not been an extra defender, they would have had a really good one-on-one shot on goal. But our forward was there, and he was able to get them. He was able to push them out, like we say, let them go this way, and they ended up dribbling out of bounds, and we got a goal kick out of that. But we shouldn't have had to ask our forward to be back like that. This should have been our defense should have been there to do that. And the thing that we need to not figure out, but the thing that we need to work on is not standing in a line like this. Because what happens, we talked about this before, where you have two defenders that are standing side by side, and then if this person beats one of them, he's actually beating both of them. And we've talked about, no, we don't stand like that. We have a defender, and then we have a defender behind them. So if they beat somebody, they have to beat two people and not just one. Okay, so in this scenario, it's exactly the same thing where our positioning on defense, we're lined up so that if he beats one, he has to make a fast dribble pass only one time, and he's beat three defenders. And this happens a lot of times, especially this has happened to us a lot on throw-ins because there is no offsides on throw-ins. So a few times, that we've been in this position and we have somebody offsides and they'll pass it and we get an offsides call. But that's, the normal thing that we want to do is, yes, we want to push up on defense to force their players to stay behind us so that they're not offsides, or let them be offsides and get that call. But this doesn't work on a throw-in because there's no offsides on throw-ins. It also doesn't really work um, because they can dribble past. And so what we want to do is we want to say, okay, well, we need to be strategic about this. If the ball is up here, yes, we want our defense to push up and force their forwards back to this line. That's what we want to do. But here's the thing, is if the ball is in here, if the ball is here, that's no longer the case. We no longer want to stay in a line and try to force the offsides. We need to change our defensive shape. Or if there's a throw in, we need to change our defensive shape. We are no longer in a line. We are now staggered. One person on the ball who's providing pressure to make sure he just can't dribble and make forward progress without encountering somebody. We need the other two defenders need to be back. The midfielders all need to be behind the ball, covering passes. So in this scenario, this is our defensive shape. Our defense is like this. It's like a triangle. It's not flat. And then our midfielders are marking potential passes. This is our positioning. We want to make this person have to dribble the ball against someone who's covering him, and we want to prevent him from passing it to someone. That's what our midfielders are doing. And then we want these two defenders. These two defenders are not out of the play just because they're not the ones on the ball. They are in the play because as soon as he dribbles past, they are the second line of defense. If he dribbles past, this person, like we've talked about, is now covering. This person's job is to get back behind them, and then this person is still in support in case they change directions and go this way. But they are still behind the ball and not in front and not lined up with it. You need to be between the man and the goal at all times. All right, especially on throw-ins. So here's something we really got to work on, is they had a lot of like really close calls, especially late in the fourth quarter because of throw-ins. Again, they would do a throw-in here, and our defense would think, okay, I'm not sure exactly what the thinking was, but it was like, okay, we're going to line up and we'll be positioned like this. Um, and if there's someone back here, maybe we'll mark him, but they'll line up like this, and then one of their players will make a run behind and they'll get the throw in. And this happened like a few times where, we're so focused on like being in front of the ball and trying to intercept that we're not protecting the space. We need to protect the space. Even if there's no one there, we need to protect where the ball is probably going to be thrown. Almost every time they're going to throw it down the line. So what we need here is we need layered defense. We need, they have position here, we have position here. They have they Even if they don't have position here, we need to be in this space, and we should not have anyone standing over here. The problem is that this person here is moving this direction, and this person here is moving this direction. That's not correct. They need to go back to here. So instead of moving over and closer to the ball, you need to go between the ball and the goal. So that's where our defense needs to be, between the ball and the goal. If you think about it like this, wherever you're standing on defense, if you are not in that direct line or somewhere near it, then you are out of the play. Now, yes, they could throw it in here and try to cross over to the other side, and so that's why we want to hedge. We want to say, okay, we're going to block this area, we're going to mark men, we're going to be around here, but we're not going to stand in line with the ball right here. Okay, that's not a good position for defense. They want to be back here protecting the space. So if they do throw it here, we then have people in position to both cover whatever push is happening here, and we have people who can recover back to support them. What's happening with us is this is not our positioning. Again, our positioning is lining up like this. They get it behind, and now we're asking this person to chase down the ball and play one-on-one defense on a chase. There's no support from these other two defenders. These other two defenders need to be behind, need to be ready to be a second line of defense. All right. I spent a lot of time talking about that, but that is really the thing that we need to work on from here. Besides that, you guys did an excellent job. One thing that I do want to point out that is, I talk about the passing all the time. You guys are doing great. But something that I saw in this game that I really liked was the carrying the ball. So we would have this position here. Um, there was extremely high pass completion. So there was, I talked about in the last review that we were getting the ball and then we were so worried about losing it that we would kick it to try to get it to somebody and we'd end up kicking it directly to a defender. That didn't happen at all this game. There was a lot less defensive pressure, so we had more time, but also you guys are making better decisions. So when you receive the ball in whatever context, someone passes it to you, you intercept the pass, whatever the reason, you get the ball. You are now the decision maker, and your teammates need to be moving around to give you options, but you need to make a decision. If you have a man on, we always say first thing, protect the ball. Get the ball on the opposite side. Use your body to protect the ball. If and then in that after that scenario, find someone to pass to, even if it's passing back. We had one pass back to the goalie. That was good. We just need to make sure that that is a nice hard pass so that there's no interceptions. If there's an interception on this pass, it's extremely bad. But passing back to the goalie is always an option. Just make sure to scan. Make sure to look this way, make sure there's no defenders that can come and intercept that pass. Then the goalie can either clear it or he can switch the field. That's what we want. Second thing, you don't have a defender on you, okay? But there's a defender approaching. In that scenario, you have enough time that you don't have to turn and protect the ball with your body, but you should be looking for an opportunity to pass. What I see a lot is we will try to do a fancy dribble to try to get past this person, and that is a low probability move. Much easier to do is just, let's pretend he's not there, is just pass the ball, run behind, receive the ball back. Just do that. It's way easier, has a much higher percentage than you trying to be a hero and show off your dribbling skills. Okay? So we pass. That's how our team works. We pass. Um, so in this scenario, we pass the ball if someone's approaching. But the thing that I really liked from this last one is the defense would be like lazy. They'd be back here. And we receive the ball, no rush, no worry about passing, carry the ball. Nice and easy, controlled dribble, get as much progress as you can. And then when the defense finally comes, make the open pass to someone else. And I saw this a number of times. This worked great. We carried at the correct time. We passed at the correct time. The decision making was very, very good. So all of that was quite impressive. Um, there was a number of opportunities that came off of crosses. That was really good. You guys are working together inside the box. Um, the offense is working great. Um, there was just a few like blind passes, much less than the last game. Um, I think that's everything I have for today. This last game we had, I'll call it out, but this people are allowed to make mistakes. We had they scored one goal and it was off of a goal kick. So, ball out. Um, the goalie was trying to get it over the forward, ended up passing it straight to the forward, and then he got an open shot. So in this scenario, um, there was a lot of activity over here. There was a lot of people, and maybe there was a run to be had on that side. But in this scenario, the better option would be pick up the ball, bring it over here, kick it down into open space. Because even if they get the ball, even if they get possession, if they get possession on their half, way better than them getting possession on our half. So that's the only thing. But guys, you're allowed to make mistakes. That's going to happen. Right after that goal, we came back and we scored on a really nice carry all the way down the field. Um, so you know it's okay to make mistakes. We learn from them, and then we improve. All right, that's all I got for today. Thanks for listening.